We're joined now from Abuja studios by Professor Godwin Sogolo, and to continue our focus on what we started out previously. Morning, and thank you for joining us. Well, I know you may have seen some of those, maybe walking or driving through some of those streets, and possibly have read and heard what people are saying about it, including that coming from the presidency. What are your impressions about the entire scenario of those campaign posters popping up, the comments making the rounds generally?
Yes, thank you. I just listened to the last discussion, and I will shock you by saying that the distraction really is on the media rather than the president. It's on the media, because what exactly are you discussing? You're talking about posters that appeared in Abuja. And you're discussing this with all seriousness, as if it is really the problem this country is facing. The man who was appointed as the spokesman for the president has spoken. And he said that, in fact, he said he did not associate the president with the posters. And I thought that should be the end of the matter. But I do not know why this unnecessary controversy should go on about posters that appear. This is a democracy. People are free to express themselves. You know, the issue does not really arise. And if we were talking about the general principle of when electionary campaign should start, now that should be, it is INEC that should address that kind of problem, yeah, and not some specific individual. And I really believe that, you know, you're asking me to comment on this. You're calling on the wrong person, because I'm not the spokesman for President Jonathan. The spokesman has spoken. And we should really accept the explanation given by him. Yeah, that is my belief about the matter. The controversy, the whole controversy is most unnecessary.
Are you suggesting that perhaps the fact that even within the party and nationally also, there had always been this talk? In fact, some members of the party had gone to court, as highlighted by the previous guest.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
About, can you hear me now?
Well, it's faint. It's faint.
Okay, but I guess they'll have to work on that and see how they can get it out. But let me
okay, go on.
If you can get it out now. Well, are you suggesting that?
I think I can hear you now.
Okay, and didn't you hear previously where even within the party, you had members who had gone to court, not even about this, about his right to even put up that kind of poster or contest for that election, and some also even way before now. Last year, year before last, we're talking about the fact that the president shouldn't even come forward, don't even think about putting up posters. All of those matters are all connected with this one. So now that this one has come forward, it's just a question of time before they even begin to respond to it. And so, why do you think it's out of place?
Yeah, okay, you're right. If there are, you know, the question is, if there are violations of that sort, is it you or I that will, you know, decide who is wrong or right? That's why I referred to INEC earlier. INEC is the body, is the umpire of elections in this country. And it is INEC that should really take up these issues. If you think somebody, you know, has done something wrong and concerning the timing of campaigns and so forth, INEC should be able to take a decision on that. It is not by taking that as a serious issue for us to spend so much time discussing about posters that appeared and have been removed, and there's been an explanation that, you know, dissociating the president from these posters. So what else do we really want to do? You're talking about, we're not trying to speculate about the possibilities that things might go wrong or had gone wrong in the past. I mean, I thought that we were going to address issues of the problems of this country, how far we have gone, or how far we went in 2012, and where we are projecting in 2013. I thought those are more substantial issues that we ought to address in this country, rather than to start talking about posters that came in and have been removed and so forth. And we take that so seriously. This is my point. I thought that the controversy does not arise, and that's most unnecessary.
Well, anyway, I think, Prof, you've just told us your stand on this particular matter. But again, well, you're a professor of philosophy. There's always what you say, and philosophers like yourself will call the first cause. And now, if people are talking about all of this, they're trying to see how it all started, leading up to 2015, when we're just getting into the eve, or rather the start of 2013. Basically, people would really want to know how it works. If you say we are in a democracy, what's the difference between our own democracy and the democracy we see in other parts of the world, where elections or campaigns start even at a swearing in of the elected officer?
Yeah, now that you mention philosophy, let me just make this point clear. In philosophy, you deal with a lot of problems about a world that exists only in ideas, and then you speculate on that. You talk about the logical world, you talk about not the practical world, most of the time not the practical world in which we exist. What I'm saying is that you don't raise an issue and begin to address it when the problem does not exist right now. That is the point I'm trying to raise. You are trying to say what happened in the past. True, we can use that to begin to make sure we curtail a problem before it explodes. But that is not the case here. We're talking about posters that were put out, and I understand that these posters have been removed. Now, what really do you want us to do? How do we address this problem now? That we want to call on somebody, we now want the president to continue to explain why these posters came out, or what he wants to do, what he will do if this campaign starts earlier than before, and so forth. Is that what you want us to do? To call anybody responsible for this? I mean, I'm just saying that we should have more substantial things to address than this kind of problem. This is my own position.
But don't you exactly see this as a problem? Because, I mean, for people to start putting up posters, I mean, the presidency has associated itself, and you said we should take their word for it. But for some people to start putting up posters at this particular time, do you think that this should be the occupation of many Nigerians or some Nigerians? Do you think anybody should be thinking about it when we are only in 2013?
Yeah, okay, I understand your point of view. If you now say the problems are going to create a problem, that's why there are security men. There are agencies of government that can address this problem. It shouldn't occupy the political space. It shouldn't occupy our minds. We should have more substantial issues to address. This is my point. I'm not saying that it's okay. You might say, like, well, if everybody keeps putting on posters, then that will lead to chaos. Okay. But then, there are security men. There are other agencies of government. There's INEC that will draw the attention of any political party that is involved in any violation. This is what I'm saying. They can do that without necessarily dragging the president into the issue.
Exactly, but isn't it by talking about it that, people begin to see that this is not how it should be, that we shouldn't be talking about politics 2 years to the election date, when we can also be talking about, or when we should be talking about development, when we have more serious things? Isn't it by talking about it that we put pressure on those who should act and then make them act?
Yeah, that's exactly what that's the reason why I say. That's the reason why I say even the media is trying to promote an unnecessary controversy. You are now saying people are talking. Who are those people talking? Is anybody really talking about 2015? The president has tried to restrain himself from talking about 2015. Well, I said earlier that I'm not the spokesman of the president, so let me not go into that. But the spokesman for the president has said that the president does not want to get involved in 2015 today. Now you're talking about people already talking. Who is talking? Well, the posters talking? I mean, posters were brought out, and I understand that the issue of the poster has been, in fact, dealt with.